Hey there and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something that can totally change how you speak and write in English. And no, we're not talking about memorizing endless vocabulary lists. We're talking about understanding language functions, basically the specific jobs words can do to make your communication way more precise and powerful. Let's get right into it. You know that feeling, right? You've got this perfect thought in your head, but when you try to actually say it, something gets lost in translation. Maybe you're trying to show a result or compare two things or give some advice, and the words just don't quite land. Well, that's exactly what we're here to fix. So, I want you to completely change how you think about grammar. Forget about all those boring rules you had to memorize. Instead, I want you to think of language as a toolkit. Every function we talk about today is a specific tool designed for a specific job. And once you know which tool to grab, you can build sentences that are stronger, clearer, and just better. So here's what we've got lined up. First, we'll look at tools for making really clear connections. Then, we'll get into how to paint a vivid picture using descriptive language. After that, we'll explore expressing ideas and advice. And finally, we'll pull it all together so you can really start mastering this new toolkit.
All right, first up, the tools that are kind of like the glue for your sentences. These are the functions that help you link your ideas together logically, so your listener knows exactly how one thought connects to the next.
This first one, showing result, is all about cause and effect. It basically answers the question, okay, so what happened because of that? When you use phrases like so that or therefore, you're building this really clear bridge from an action straight to its outcome.
So check this out. The cause is that he's so lazy. And the result? That he cannot complete the work. See that? That little phrase just connects everything so smoothly. It's a lot more powerful than just saying, Ravi is lazy, he can't finish.
Okay, so this next tool is super interesting because it does the complete opposite. Instead of showing an expected result, expressing contrast is all about highlighting something unexpected. It's for those times when you want to say, this happened, even though you'd probably expect something totally different. Just look at this sentence. Most people assume, being rich means being happy. But that little phrase, in spite of, is like a signal to your brain that says, hold on, we're about to challenge that idea. It sets up this little surprise that makes the whole idea way more impactful. All right, so we've covered connecting ideas. Now let's get into how to actually bring those ideas to life. The tools in this section are all about adding that color and detail and specificity. This is how you go from just stating a fact to painting a really vivid picture in someone's mind. One of the best ways to describe something is to just compare it to something else. And this function gives you the perfect structure for that, whether you're pointing out how two things are similar or what really makes them different. And the cool thing is, we can get super specific with how we compare things. There's the positive degree, which shows two things are equal, like as clever as. Then you've got the comparative, which shows a difference, cleverer than. And finally, the superlative, which singles one out as being at the very top, the cleverest. And here's that comparative degree in action. We're not just saying Ravi is clever. We're actually defining how clever he is by measuring him against a specific group, any other boy in the class. That gives us a much sharper, much clearer picture of his abilities. Okay, this next one is a fantastic tool that honestly gets a bad rap sometimes, but it is so useful. It's called the passive form, or describing a process, and it lets you completely shift the focus of a sentence. So instead of talking about who did something, you put the spotlight on the action itself. So what's the first thing you notice here? It's what's missing, right? Who caught the thief? We don't know. And you know what? It doesn't matter. The important thing, the hero of this sentence, is that the thief was caught. The action is the main event, and using the passive form makes that happen. Okay, so we've connected ideas, we've described them. Now let's dive into some of the more, nuanced tools. These are the ones you're going to use to share your thoughts, make recommendations, and even talk about things that aren't necessarily real. I mean, this is something we all do, right? Every single day. When you want to guide somebody or just give your opinion on the best way to do something, these are your words. Should is a good general recommendation. Had better, well, that one usually hints that something bad might happen if you don't take the advice. Whoa, okay. This example is super direct, isn't it? It lays out a situation, you are fat, and then gives a very clear recommendation using that keyword should. It's that classic structure for giving advice. Here's the problem, and here's my proposed solution.
But what if you want to talk about something that's not, well, not actually true? What if you want to use an imaginary scenario to make a point? That is exactly where making supposition comes in. This is your tool for stepping into the world of what if to create really powerful descriptions.
I absolutely love this example because it's so incredibly expressive. Now, obviously, we all know Parth isn't actually Virat Kohli, but by using as though, the speaker paints this amazing picture of how Parth plays, maybe with the same skill or the same swagger. It's using a hypothetical to create a really powerful, real-world description. So cool.
So, we've just unboxed a bunch of awesome new tools for your communication toolkit. We've seen how each one works on its own, but the real magic happens when you start seeing them all as part of one big system for expressing yourself with clarity and confidence. And this table here, this really brings it all together. On the left, you've got your goal, what you're trying to do. In the middle, you've got the specific tool for the job. And on the right, the keywords that turn that tool on. Think of this as your quick start guide to more powerful communication. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about passing some grammar test. It's about being understood. When you shift your thinking from just memorizing rules to actually mastering tools, you give yourself the power to build any idea you can imagine and to do it with precision. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Think about it. Which one of these new tools from your toolkit are you going to intentionally use today? Maybe it's showing contrast in an email or making a comparison in a meeting. Whatever it is, go use it. Because the absolute best way to master any tool is to start building something. Thanks for joining me.